In a world that often celebrates only the light, I choose to embrace both the darkness and the light within me. This manifestation is my sacred commitment to embodying the dark feminine energy, the mysterious, powerful, and transformative force that resides in every woman. The dark feminine is not about evil or negativity. It represents the depth of our being, the parts of ourselves that society has taught us to hide. It is the wisdom of the night, the power of intuition, and the strength of our shadows. It is Kali's fierce protection, Persephone's underworld sovereignty, and Lilith's unapologetic independence. I recognize that my power lies not in conforming to society's expectations of perpetual lightness, but embracing the full spectrum of my being. The dark feminine teaches us that true power comes from integration, not segregation of our parts. I commit to honoring my cyclical nature. Like the moon, I will embrace both my waxing and waning phases. I understand that my power fluctuates naturally, and I refuse to force myself into constant productivity or artificial happiness. I embrace my sensuality without shame. My body is a temple of wisdom, and I honor it through movement, rest, and pleasure. I reject the notion that my sexuality must be dimmed or hidden to be respectable. I cultivate my intuition as my most trusted advisor. I listen to the whispers of my soul and trust the knowing that comes from deep within. I understand that logic alone cannot guide me to my highest path. I reclaim my right to feel deeply. My emotions are not weaknesses to be controlled, but gifts to be expressed. Anger becomes my boundary setter, sadness my compassion builder, and fear my wisdom keeper. I embrace the art of sacred selfishness. I understand that taking care of myself first is not selfish but necessary. I cannot pour from an empty cup, and I refuse to martyr myself for others' comfort. I own my shadow aspects. I acknowledge my jealousy, my rage, my desire for power, and my darker thoughts. These are not parts to be banished, but integrated into my whole being. I commit to being fully present in my body. I will feel every sensation, honor every instinct, and move with intentional grace. My body is not just a vessel, but a source of ancient wisdom. I practice the art of slow living. I refuse to rush through life, instead savoring each moment and finding beauty in the darkness. I understand that transformation happens in the quietest of moments. I cultivate mystery in my life. Not everything needs to be shared, explained, or understood by others. I keep sacred spaces within myself that are mine alone. I manifest through surrender rather than force. I understand that true power comes from allowing, not controlling. I trust in divine timing and the wisdom of the universe. I work with the cycles of nature. I align my goals with the moon phases, the seasons, and my own natural rhythms. I understand that everything has its time for growth and rest. I practice patience and manifestation. I know that the most powerful transformations happen in the dark, like seeds germinating beneath the soil. I set boundaries with unwavering conviction. I no longer explain or justify my needs. My no is a complete sentence, and my boundaries are non-negotiable. I attract relationships that honor my whole being. I refuse to dim my light or hide my darkness to make others comfortable. Those who belong in my life will celebrate all of me. I practice discernment in my connections. Not everyone deserves access to my energy, my time, or my sacred spaces. I choose carefully who I allow into my inner circle. I create from my depths, not just my surface. My creative expression comes from the marriage of light and shadow within me. I allow my art to be real, raw, and sometimes unforgettable. I embrace destruction as part of creation. Sometimes things must be torn down to be rebuilt. I don't fear endings, knowing they lead to new beginnings. I trust in the power of void spaces, the empty canvas, the silent moment, the fallow period. These are not lacks, but potent spaces of possibility. I develop my own spiritual practice that honors both light and shadow. I create rituals that celebrate the full spectrum of my being and the cycles of nature. I work with shadow aspects of spirituality. I am not afraid to explore the depths of my psyche or connect with darker aspects of the divine feminine. I trust my own spiritual guidance above all external authorities. My connection to the divine is personal and doesn't need validation from others. I bring my dark feminine energy into work. I lead with intuition alongside strategy, emotion alongside logic, and flow alongside structure. I refuse to conform to masculine models of success. I create my own definition of achievement that honors my cyclical nature and need for rest. I own my power in professional spaces. I don't apologize for my presence or minimize my achievements to make others comfortable. I adorn myself in ways that make me feel powerful. My appearance is an expression of my inner world, not a mask to please others. I move my body in ways that feel authentic. I dance with abandon, rest without guilt, and exercise for pleasure rather than punishment. I eat intuitively and with pleasure. Food is not my enemy, but a source of nourishment and enjoyment. I speak my truth without fear. My voice may shake, but I will not be silenced. My words carry the power of my authentic experience. I communicate with depth and nuance. I'm not afraid to discuss taboo topics or express unpopular opinions. I use my voice to advocate for others while maintaining healthy boundaries. My advocacy comes from a place of power, not obligation. I cultivate a healthy relationship with money. I see it as a form of energy that can be used for both giving and receiving. I charge what I'm worth without apology. My time, energy, and expertise have value, and I expect fair compensation. I manage my resources with wisdom. I invest in my growth while maintaining healthy boundaries around my finances. I consider the impact I want to leave on the world. My legacy will be one of authenticity, power, and integration of all aspects of being. I mentor others in embracing their own darkness. I share my wisdom while encouraging each person to find their own path. I contribute to changing cultural narratives around feminine power. Through my example, I show others that true power comes from embracing all aspects of self. I start each day with intention. I take time to connect with my body, my emotions, and my intuition before engaging with the outside world. I end each day with reflection. I honor both my accomplishments and my challenges, knowing both contribute to my growth. I maintain practices that nurture my dark feminine energy: meditation, journaling, movement, ritual, and time in nature. I commit to this path of embodying the dark feminine with full awareness that it is a journey, not a destination. I will face resistance, both internal and external, but I choose to proceed anyway. I understand that embracing the dark feminine is not about perfection, but about presence and authenticity. I will make mistakes, learn, and grow stronger through each experience. I declare myself a sacred vessel of dark feminine energy. Through me, this ancient wisdom flows into the modern world, creating transformation and healing wherever it is needed. I am the dark feminine incarnate. I am mystery, power, and transformation. I am the wisdom of the ages and the force of change. I am both creator and destroyer, nurturer and warrior, maiden and crone. I embrace all that I am, all that I have been, and all that I am becoming. In this embrace, I find my true power, my authentic voice, and my divine purpose. And it is done.